on a day when a world agreement has been announced on protecting the oceans, it's probably quite fitting that we're starting our walk today outside the Palma aquarium, who do a lot of research into looking after the marine environment. We're actually in the Playa de Palma, and we're not going into the aquarium. We're going down to the beach and have a look to see how it's looking down there. I do know that there is some controversy about zoos and aquariums, but I do know that here the Palma Aquarium do quite a lot of research and help for the environment in terms of education for the children from the schools that Anita and I have taught at have all been to the aquarium and learnt lots about the environment. So they do some good work as well. So we've just parked up, and we're just heading towards the beach. It's Sunday, and it's the 5th. Is that right? 5th of March 2023. And a lot of the talk at the moment is still about the weather. We've had some really grim weather over the past week, but it looks as though we might be on the verge of a change. So fingers crossed, by the end of the week we'll be back to normal. See one of the airport buses there. We seem to be getting more and more of these buses, and it's got to be, I would think, the cheapest way of getting to and from the airport. You can pay with a credit card. It's a good way of doing that. So we're just not far from the beach. It's a bit breezy, and because it's a bit breezy, we've got the kite surfers out. These huge kites. Maybe they're not surfers, maybe they're just kite flyers. They're big kites. You can feel there's quite a strong breeze blowing right into our faces. Quite a few people out already on the promenade, and lots of windsurfers out there. It's a breezy day, perfect day for them to skim the waves. Yes, they are kite surfers, and they're really quite close in, so we should get some good views of these. Parasol with her today, but I think if she had, she might have gone flying away. There's loads of these windsurfers out here, and because we've had so much rain, this is one of the torrentes, and a lot of water in here.
Sun dunes.
That's, yeah, it's washed away the beach to some extent. That'll all get flattened out. Just to show you where exactly we are, that end we've got Campastilla. We did a video from Campastilla just a week or two ago. Behind us is where the aquarium is. I was told that some of these parasols have actually been out all through the winter, so they're actually took them in. And we just turned around now again, walking away from Palma, and in the distance we have El Arnal. good place for walking because it's really nice and flat. There's benches along the way, but the seawall provides somewhere you can stop and just sit. It's been put at that height for you. And on the other side of the road we've got the hotels, we've got bars and shops. I'll try and keep Anita away as much as I can. You brought your purse?
I haven't brought a bag.
Ah, she hasn't brought a bag or a purse. Oh dear, what a shame. For us it's just after lunch, it's about 3:15 in the afternoon. So I think if there's kite surfers and windsurfers here, there's probably surfers somewhere else finding waves that they can surf. Quite breezy and it feels as though it's blowing from the south actually. So this is the side of the island that's going to be getting the waves. Usually a bit closer to Porticholo is where you find the surfers. Just a quick look across the road. There's lots of tables and chairs out there and people having a drink, finishing off their lunches. Or starting, as the case may be. Beach side bars though are not open yet. Lots of suggestions of videos that I could make. One that's close to mind at the moment is taxis. Not of the wheeled variety, but the payment to the government variety. What do we have to pay in the way of taxes and how does that all work? So I'll have a little think about that one. I did do one on taxes, I think, some time ago. I'm certainly not a tax expert, but obviously I'm a taxpayer, so I've got some experience in that respect.
Is that where we have the nice goulash there?
Don't know. Can't be shilling package deal, we've just had lunch. Some quite big waves here. It's normally very calm on this beach, but because the wind's coming from the south, it's bringing in the waves. And I do like the sound of the sea. According to the local newspaper, this is one of the parts of the island that's going to be opening up first. And just across the road we've got the hotels. This one's definitely open, people sitting on the balconies. Others still getting ready to be opened. But here they cater a lot for the German market, so they seem to start their holidays a little bit earlier, and the British. And further down as well there'll be quite a few Dutch people. major work going on behind that sheeting. The sea's looking good, if a little lumpy. Quite surprisingly, there are a few people on the beach. Lots of shops open on the other side. I'm going to start getting worried there. Walk back on the other side, yes. Time of the year, isn't it? Roadworks. When we went through Campasti a couple of weeks ago, there was a lot of roadworks going on there. Certainly a lot been going on in Palma with the sinkholes and the Paseo Maritimo. We've just driven along the Paseo Maritimo at the front in Palma, and that's under a 2-year reconstruction at the moment, so it's a little bit of a mess. Fluffy clouds around, but quite pleasant in the sun. A cool breeze, which means it's fine for walking. Playing bubble with a stick. It's a different sort of game, that is. Simple game, just bring out a few bits of wood and throw them. Not sure what the aim of the game is. Whatever it is, I don't think he managed to do it. Other than the kite surfers and the windsurfers, there's a lot of little sailing boats out there as well. I've had a lot of questions about snow. People have been reading in the English press. Is it true you have snow there? Yeah, it's absolutely true. There's lots and lots of snow here, but it's up in the mountains, it's not down by the sea. And I think one newspaper in the UK was reporting 16 inches of snow, and that's not an exaggeration. I've seen pictures of snow here where the drifts have covered poles which are 9 feet tall, so as tall as these sun umbrellas really, I suppose. And some of those up in the mountains have been covered, so that's a drift situation. But a lot of the roads, there were 100 roads leading up to this weekend, were closed up in the mountain areas. Thousands of people were cut off for 3 days with no electricity because of the weather. That's, I think, gradually being restored now. But it's a little bit unusual, but we have snow every year. It's perhaps not quite so much, and very, very rarely down at sea level. Though while we've been here, it has happened on perhaps a handful of occasions. And I can remember once I was teaching in a classroom, and we were looking out of the window, and you could see the snow coming down, and the sheer excitement of the children. Some of them never actually seen snow falling from the sky.
We always have, didn't we?
Yeah. And then on other occasions we've had really quite a lot of snow here, 6 inches of snow where we live in Palma. And on a particular weekend it happened. We were not here, we were on the mainland, so we missed it. But our daughter did send us photographs of the snow in our garden and on the cars, on the roads. That must be really dangerous once you get onto the roads, because the roads here are not very well equipped for dealing with snow. And snow ploughs, salting doesn't happen at all. And the only snow ploughs really are things that stick on the front of a tractor, I think. We don't have many of those tractors around in the city. I suppose at this point I should say something about the football.
I think you really should. I don't think you should.
Well, Anita and I went to the football match yesterday where Mallorca, who are riding quite high at the moment, and were in about the 10th place, were playing.
The manager said we would be winning 3-0 by half time.
I don't think he did.
He did. That's what the man next to me said.
Anyway, they were playing the bottom club Elche, who haven't won a game away from home. Haven't scored a goal, I don't think, all season away from home. Anyway, they managed to when they got to Majorca, and not only that, they did win the match, so went home with 3 points, and Majorca lost 3 points, and that really is not what should be happening at this stage in the season. But,
Stoke did all right.
Stoke City did all right, yeah. We're both from Stoke, and Stoke actually won. A great friend of mine supports Sunderland, so he was not very happy yesterday. But Mallorca, well, they really need to up their game now. Another home game on Sunday, and certainly hoping for better things from them there.
No, thank you.
So yes, so I mean, one of the criticisms that our friend Monroe made in his article today was that They just don't seem to have the urgency, you know. They get a corner and they wander up to take the corner. They should be running up, dashing up, getting the corner done, putting the other team, the opponents, under pressure, and that really
The opposite way round.
lacking yesterday. And the score line, which was Elche scored one and Mallorca didn't. Actually, Elche could have scored easily 2 more goals, and we were very lucky to have a goalkeeper that kept those balls out of the net. Mallorca did have a couple of chances, and they did have a goal that was disallowed for the most trivial of reasons. One of our players was judged to have touched another player's face.
Half an hour before the goal.
It was a considerable time before the goal, but when you look at the replay, that's all he did. It was behind him, so he couldn't see what he was doing. His hand was out, and it touched this man's face. It wasn't a slap, it wasn't a hit. The other man just walked into it. So to have the goal disallowed for that did not really seem very fair to the Mallorca fans. It happened in about the 98th minute as well. Another one which we're all a bit concerned about how VAR works. The VAR is the television people, referees who watch the match and are supposed to be able to instantly make a decision on whether something was right or wrong. And it just doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to happen fast enough. We've got all of this technology. Why can't they actually just say, yes, that ball was in, that ball was out? And sometimes they just don't seem to see things that we as fans see.
They do it, and then the referee has to go make his own decision, so what's the point of having it?
So one of the cases from yesterday's match, and I did video some of the match, and I've actually looked at my footage of the incident. It was when the Majorca was going into their box, and the goalkeeper picked up the ball. But on my video, he clearly has 1 foot completely out of the box. So why didn't VAR see that? Why was it even questioned? The players close to it, the Mallorca players, did shout for it, but totally ignored by the referee, who insisted play just went on. And that could really have something that could have changed the whole complexion of the match. Yeah, I'm a sore loser.
We're still 10, so that's positive.
We're still 10th, but what we have is a situation now where we've got, I don't know, about 10 teams all on the same points almost, aren't we? There's very, very little separating them, just 2 or 3 points. So a couple of bad matches can make a big difference. You can suddenly go from 10th to 18th. You don't want to do that. A peddler that's bitten the dust. Shipwreck. An hour now, or nearly an hour now. Actually bumped into some former pupils who said they miss me. That was nice. I like that. I miss them too.
And they had some cake because it was Neil's 107th birthday.
Yeah, so we didn't have any cake though, did we? So it was the Real Mallorca Club's 107th birthday yesterday. So they celebrated by providing cake to all the fans. I think some of us might think that the players were having too much cake before the match and didn't put all the effort in.
And it wasn't a piece of cake in the match.
Fun? Wasn't a piece of cake. Certainly wasn't. Dear darling, wasn't a piece of cake.
That's Monroe's joke, just to let you know.
Is that right? Certainly wasn't a piece of cake. Actually got some fishermen out down here. Got their rods cast into the sea. Park area with trees and shade. They've probably got the processionary caterpillars this time of the year. Soon be sorted. Came to Mallorca, or when we first came to Mallorca, one of the first sponsored walks we ever got involved with was along this promenade.
I can't even remember being part of that.
I'm just wondering when it was, if it was when I came to visit the island. I know it was hot, so I think it was probably in May, and students from the school just walked up and down this promenade, and the promenade's really long. It's 5 or 6 kilometres. So walking up and down here in the heat of the day with virtually no shade is not very good. Actually, at that time of the year, 30 odd years ago, this promenade was quite different as well, because there were cars that were driving up and down here. This promenade didn't look like this. A price comparison in one of the British newspapers, and they were saying how the prices of things were not so much different in the UK as they are in other parts of Europe. When you looked at it, they were comparing places like Tesco and Asda with local spa shops, and I've been into some of these spa shops. You go in here, some of the prices are double what you would pay in a typical sort of shop that Spanish people buy their things in. So I think the comparison didn't seem to be quite fair. They need to use shops like Mercadona, Carrefour,
Al Campo. They're the shops that we have here in Mallorca. Eroski. They might give you a fairer comparison. A local spa shop, which is very much a convenience store and not a supermarket, which many Spanish people would use on a day-to-day basis to do their shopping. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should put a list of how much some basic things are. That could be interesting, couldn't it? How much is a loaf of
Give
bread?
you something to do, darling.
Or a dozen eggs, for example. There's one, or a pint of milk. Flour, just basic things. Draw a set of
Beer, wine.
yeah, they were comparing the cost of Heineken in one country compared to another. So yeah, I suppose that's a fair enough test. We've been going to the market in Sonferrer for the past 2 weeks, and one of the people that watches our videos lives close to there, lives in Torrenova, but Eduardo watches a lot of our videos, and suggested that we try a menu del dia, which is supposed to be the best menu del dia in Sonferrer, in Chiscos, and I just had a quick look and it was €12.50. I need to check to make sure what that includes, but normally a menu del dia is 3-course meal with wine, water, and occasionally you'll get coffee thrown in, but most don't do that. But, and bread, yeah. So I need to check that out. It sounded really good, and certainly sounded like value for money.
Sometimes it's only one plate though.
Well, then it's not a menu del dia. If it's one plate, it's a plato del dia. It's a plate of the day. A menu del dia should be 3 courses. Some of them actually cut it down to 2 and still call it a menu though. And it actually dates back, I think, probably to the time of Franco, when everyone needed to be able to get a meal at a reasonable price at lunchtime, so the workers could go and get something to eat.
Were they when we first came here? Menu del dias.
Yeah, when we first came here, I can remember having a menu del dia for 350 pesetas in Palma. 350 pesetas. That's less than £2, isn't it? He's got one of these that rides out of the water. How much further are we going, dear?
Not much.
We're almost at that Polythea locale. Church and the spire. Serena used to work close to here. She used to work at a tourist information office. This is where I lost my keys. I came here and I got a hole in the trousers and I put the keys in the trousers and they got lost. So I lost the keys to the car. Oh, what an experience. I never got them back. Fortunately, I kept a spare set at home, and my son came to the rescue, having retrieved them. So I spent some time in that Polythea locale, and they told me that any lost keys would get there for a time and then they go to a central place in Palma. So I did actually go to this place in Palma, and it was actually downstairs in the basement, and this policeman brought out a box full of keys. He says these are the ones we've had recently. It's like a big drawer full of keys, and then he says if it's not in there, here's another one that we've had for some time. And I looked and looked and looked, but I never found my key. It wasn't just the key to the car, it was the keys to everything. It was a little bit of a pain. Oh, train started again. It must be the season started. I was somebody was shouting out, I think, on the Calio's board to say that the season has started. More so on this side than on the Palma, certainly Magaluf side. Palma is reasonably open. Magaluf I think will probably take a little bit longer. We haven't been to Majorca for a while, but I'm guessing Majorca will be opening up. We went to Santa Palma fairly recently, and that was pretty much shut up. But they've got St. Patrick's Day coming up, so I would expect them to be doing something for St. Patrick's Day. I think I have seen a poster for it somewhere, maybe on Facebook.
There we are, there's some more shops.
You want to go to the Merchandani? If you're in this part of the world, this is probably the best shop to go to. Whoa, we've got a few cyclists there. A wave of cyclists. Get some of the best bargains on the Playa de Palma here. So we're going to leave the best shop on the Playa de Palma and head back. But this time we're going to walk on the this side of the road and perhaps find somewhere to stop off for a coffee. Really quite busy on this side. People are having their afternoon drinks. Some folks finishing off lunch. Quite often when we come here we just park up that road, we usually find somewhere to park. Today we're actually parked near to the just across the road. Tourist information shop centre. Actually doesn't look to be very open at the moment. Not sure whether that's the day. It is a Sunday. I think the clock stopped. Lots of places open, but still a few that have not quite got there yet. My guess is that this is going to be the month when we'll see most of them open. We're looking for somewhere in the shade and haven't actually got anywhere in the shade for us, so we'll move on. I'm sure we'll find somewhere a little bit further up. Ice cream. Looks like all the cyclists have stopped at this bar. Someone suggested once the season starts, probably another few weeks away yet, maybe around Easter time or after Easter, is to film the aeroplanes taking off and landing. I know it doesn't appeal to everyone, but I did actually suggest it to Anita last year as we
To do what?
to take a video of aeroplanes taking off and landing. I think that could make quite an interesting edit. Just do say an hour and then condense it into all the takeoff and landings, just to show you just how many do take off. In the summertime it's really every 90 seconds or so there's a plane coming in to land. More than burgers. Is this the place we usually come to? Changed. Yeah, or even more than burgers. You can sit on that terrace. Well, we managed to find somewhere with a little bit of shade and coffee.
It is. Oh, it is.
And that's where we are. More than burgers.
So instead of a burger, we're having a coffee.
What's it say on the other side? That's the name of the place. Burke. So, cheers everyone.
Cheers. Hot.
A very hot but very nice coffee. Well, very nice coffee there, but definitely expensive. $2.90 for a coffee. It is very expensive. We paid $1.90 in Palma just the other day for exactly the same coffee. So
It's quite an expensive area to eat in though, isn't it?
maybe it's a bit different on this side of Palma. And it was very nice, very nicely decorated and nice view of the sea. I just think that a bit too much. Anyway, we're going to be making our way back now to the car. It's getting a little bit more cloudy. Really hot.
Shop that sells things that you didn't know you needed. Who's going?
Shops open here. We'll have a little look, I'm sure. Some people getting the holiday mode, having a little ride along the front. Someone flying a kite. It's a really good day for it, I think. Something we used to have lots of fun with as children. Serena did too, didn't she?
Yes. Leon.
petrol?
No, 75.
75? Oh, we're not back at the car yet. Still a fair walk. Some more photographs of some of the colleagues, former colleagues, playing in the snow in the mountains. So some of the roads must be open for them to get up there. Quite different down here. But you'll find when in Spain, if you go to the mainland, there are parts of Spain, particularly in the south, the Sierra Nevada, which is a ski resort. You can go skiing in the morning and then drive down to the coast and go swimming in the sea because it's really quite warm down there. One of the hotels that's open. And that's really good for the economy. I mean, you've got the people who are staying there, contributing to the economy, and then people are actually working there, and they can spend their money in the shops, so it keeps us all going. To investigating the menu. Look interesting? Nope. So I'm imagining that when they do the Paseo Maritimo in Palma, it's going to be a little bit like this, where we've got much more pedestrian area,
There'll still be cars going up and down.
grassed areas, lots of trees, maybe even some little parking areas where children can play. It's going to take another year and a half to complete. This is a lovely avenue to walk along. Full of palm trees. Some of them have had recent treatment, because they need a little bit of treatment.
Ball here.
It's a big one.
There's one of those in Playa in one of the shops.
Yeah. And we have been to Pamplona, and that's the place where they have the famous bull run. But there is a shop down there where people can have a photograph next to a bull, a life-size looking one. There's a bronze of a bull as well, I think, which is quite impressive. Actually, promenades a bit up and down. I think it might be something to do with the routes. As I'm walking, it's in places seem a little bit uneven. Quite a few of these fish places here, and you can dangle your feet in them.
Flaming man sitting at that one, didn't you see?
Oh, last thing I want to do. My feet dangling in some water and fish nibbling at them. Oh, and horrible. Who had the feet in that water before you?
I used to go in Palma with him.
Yeah, I know you've been. I can't even believe you've done that, really. I mean, definitely rather you than me. There's the train on the other side of the road. And off he goes. Take you along the Playa de Palma if you don't fancy walking. You can have a little ride on there.
Oh, bumpers.
Did you get a wave, dear? We were actually at the Fira de Fang yesterday. That's the ceramics fair in Majorca, and we noticed there was a little train there. But that was doing the wine tour. Maybe we should do that one.
I didn't see that.
Did you not see that? Oh, you see, you missed it.
The wine tour where?
Well, I'm guessing it visits the vineyards.
We should do that. Do that tomorrow.
That's one of the joys of having the bus pass, is that we can actually go on these things and have a glass of wine and not think about driving home. Grillmeister. Sausages there, and hot dogs. We used to have them at the football matches at one time.
Yeah. After a long time.
Yeah.
Still serving them.
And yesterday they were serving pre-cake. And you can imagine how long the queue was. So we left into it. course, you get the more professional people who get on a plane and bring the bikes with them. So that one's getting very close to being ready to open. Beds are outside ready. Finishing touches by the looks of things.
This one's not.
Yeah, actually a bit more finishing touches to do. Might be a week or two yet.
This big one's open here. Nice, isn't it?
Aber die Wohnung hatten wir uns gekauft und in Hinloch haben wir uns in die Wohnung gekauft.
Busy place here.
Busy place.
Commercial coffee is here.
Need to investigating.
Coffee and cake is fine here. 250.
Hey amigo, ¿qué tal? ¿Todo bien?
¿Todo bien? ¿Allá? ¿Allá?
And this is where they're doing all of the works. When we started, we noticed a lot of road works being done on this side. Looks like we've done this part where I'm walking now. So a lot more in front. Certainly plenty to see walking up and down here. Even at this time of the year. Circular blocks. Seem to look a little bit dated to me. The idea of having blocks like that. Dates probably from the 70s, do you think?
Don't look right now, do you?
No, it's a type of architecture that may have looked good in the day. Another grill Leister. Find lots of around this area. Well, it's not $5.90 for 2 coffees here. is that we've passed? Lost count. I did some years ago for a bar that was down underneath there. What a shame. I must have bought this bar and it was just totally hidden.
Called the Hidden Corner.
Not sure what it was called, I can't remember. A long, long time ago. Six-seater, seven-seater maybe. Oh. Carrier. Clouds are creeping in. So the weather is going to improve by the end of the week, but we might have a few ups and downs before we actually get there. And next weekend it should be really quite warm. Hopefully it'll be even warmer where we're going.
Let's see.
We hope. Playa. It's one of the hotels here that's open. Are we nearly there, dear?
Hope so. Seems to be further going back than it was probably. These things used to be numbered, didn't they?
I think they still are numbered actually. But they used to have much more obvious numbers.
Yeah, they're right on the top. Obviously.
Balneario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Football and drinks. I think we'll be having a little bit of a rest from football for a week now. I think we need to recover from yesterday.
I was thinking we haven't been to an Indian for ages.
You're quite right, we're not. Fancy doing that one day this week.
When? This week. We go somewhere tomorrow. Good. I'm sure wherever we go they'll have an Indian restaurant.
Could do. open yet. Looks like got a bit getting ready to open. We're nearly there. Nearly back to where we
Yeah,
started.
that's it, very.
By the time we get to the car, we should hit your 10,000 target. And I'm guessing I'm probably about 2,000 behind you. Right, I think that's going to be it. We're more or less back now. Well, we're just about now the end of our video, and we're going to go back to the car and make our way home. Thanks very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye for now.